So you have an idea for a game, and you're thinking, how can I bring this to life? I was in the same situation, so I'd love to share my experience with you. I had zero knowledge about game development, so I watched lessons online to understand the basics. For example, Unreal Sensei. Then I started working on my first game. And here are 10 things that I learned. First, start with an idea that means a lot to you. Creating your first game can be extremely complicated and very frustrating, so it is important to have strong drive to continue. For example, my first game, called Goodbye, is based on real events and strong feelings that I wanted to share with others. Because of COVID, I couldn't visit my grandparents for a long time, so I lost both of them during lockdown. And I couldn't be there for them or for my family. In my dreams, I still often think that they're with us because I couldn't say a proper goodbye. So I poured my feelings into my first game, and it helped me to deal with those feelings. And when I was feeling like giving up, I reminded myself, why am I doing this? I always hoped that after playing this game, someone would call or visit their loved ones, and this thought kept me going. Second, I think it is useful to tell others about what you are working on, and possibly include them into the process. It can keep you motivated to continue, since you promised to deliver something. Just don't go too far, so you'll feel motivated and not under pressure. For example, I got one of my favorite voice actors to help me with my game, Billy Lush. You may know him as the voice of the outsider from Dishonored. I'm extremely grateful to him for recording voice lines for my game, and I knew that I couldn't let his effort go to waste, so I was determined to finish my game. Also, one of my favorite bands allowed me to use their demo version of their song, Memento Mori by Crywank. So don't be afraid to reach to others for help. Next tip is to keep your first project small. I know people who have great ideas for their game, but it can take them years to create it, and not everyone is ready for such commitment. In my opinion, your first project may not be perfect, but it can teach you so much before going for a bigger project. It can give you much needed experience, a bit of confidence, and a valuable feedback from players. Now let's go for more of a technical side of it, optimization. I know pretty much nothing about it, and it was my huge mistake. My game has standard graphics and it's pretty short, but it can make your computer hotter than your crush. And this is because it was made by an amateur, so yeah, I have a lot to learn. I also would recommend you to keep an eye on the size of your project from the very beginning. Some content can be huge, so it might be better to look for an alternative. You can package your game and check your cooked folder to see what takes a lot of space. And on this topic, remember to save copies of your game and package it quite frequently, so you won't be surprised with tons of errors at the later stage. And remember to properly adjust your packaging settings, so you won't add unnecessary things there. Next tip, keep your folders and blueprints clean. If you mess up something at the later stage, it can be hard to find and understand your earlier blueprints. At the beginning, I had clear names for everything, like BP Buns, VP Sleep, and later I was changing a lot of things, and now the names were like BP Buns Fix, VP Sleep 2, and now it's a mess. And the worst thing is that some of them affect other blueprints, so if I accidentally break one of them, several others might stop working. And this is just soul destroying. Another important thing is to make a rough map first, like with blocks. It can help you understand how the game would work without spending a lot of hours adding meshes, decals, and all of those good things. So make sure that the game is going to be fun to play before going into details. I actually made this mistake and I was struggling to fix it. can't tell if I succeed. On that note, try to get someone to test your game before it's almost complete. I started testing phase when the game was almost ready, so it was really hard to adapt to testers' feedback. After working on the game for 6 months, I just couldn't see how the players would see it because I spent so much time in there. By the way, thanks everyone who tested or played my game, I really appreciate it. And the last thing is, talk to other devs and never stop learning about tools and game development in general. We can have so much fun with it. Hope these tips will be helpful for you. Good luck with your project.